Mia never planned to buy a classic car, and she never imagined her life would change in a dusty roadside yard. She only stopped there because her old bike failed and she needed something cheap to reach work each morning. The yard sat quiet under tall weeds with tired cars resting like forgotten stories from another time. Sunlight brushed faded paint and cracked glass while the wind moved loose papers across the ground. Mia walked slowly, feeling out of place, yet calm, as if the silence was inviting her to listen. That was when her eyes found the Camaro resting alone at the far end of the lot. The Camaro looked worn and patient with dull paint, flat tires, and an engine that had not spoken in years. Still, its shape held strength and promise, like it remembered better days and refused to let go. Mia felt a strange pull and stepped closer, brushing dust from the hood with her sleeve. She had no reason to care about old cars, and yet her heart felt steady near it. Memories she did not own seemed to echo in her mind as she stood there quietly. In that moment she felt the car was waiting, not abandoned, but paused. A voice behind her broke the silence, and an older man approached with slow, careful steps. His name was Ron, and his hands carried the marks of long work and long years. He told her the Camaro had belonged to someone special, but time had pulled everything apart. No one wanted it because it needed care, money, and patience he no longer had. Mia asked the price with little hope and a shy smile. Ron surprised her by saying $500 if she could take it away. The number felt unreal, and Mia laughed softly, thinking he was joking. Ron only nodded and said he wanted the car gone but not forgotten. He explained the papers were old but clear, and the story was heavy. Mia hesitated, knowing she had little savings and even less experience. Still, something inside told her this choice mattered more than sense. She agreed before fear could speak and shook his hand. Getting the Camaro home was harder than buying it, and the day stretched long. A borrowed truck, a rope, and help from a neighbor named Luke made it possible. The car rolled into her small garage like a guest arriving after years away. Dust filled the air and light slipped through the narrow window. Mia stood there, tired and smiling, unsure of what came next. She felt proud and scared, as if she had opened a door she could not close. That night she sat beside the Camaro, running her fingers along the wheel. She imagined roads, laughter, and music, even though she had never owned such dreams. While cleaning the back seat, she noticed an envelope tucked beneath the cushion. The paper was yellow and folded with care, as if meant to stay hidden. Her name was not on it, and neither was Ron's name. The front only read, "Please read when ready." Mia did not open the letter right away and placed it on the workbench. Sleep came slowly as questions filled her thoughts without answers. She wondered who loved the Camaro before and why the letter stayed. Morning light returned and courage followed with it. She picked up the envelope, feeling its weight more than its size. Whatever waited inside felt important and alive. As she unfolded the letter, her hands trembled with quiet respect. The words inside were gentle, honest, and full of hope. The writer spoke of lost love and a promise tied to the car. Mia realized this was not a goodbye but a beginning. The letter would change how she saw herself and her future. And somewhere far away, the previous owner was already on his way back. Mia sat alone in the garage, holding the letter with both hands while the quiet morning wrapped around her. The words stayed in her mind and moved slowly through her heart like warm air. The letter spoke about a man named Daniel who once owned the Camaro and loved it deeply. He wrote about working late nights fixing the engine with hope and patience. He believed the car carried his best memories and his strongest promises. Daniel wrote that life had changed suddenly and taken him away from everything he built. He spoke about losing his home and being forced to sell the Camaro with pain. He trusted that the right person would find it and listen to its story. He said the car was not just metal but a second chance waiting for the right hands. Mia felt the weight of his trust and knew she could not ignore it. She spent the next days cleaning the garage and learning about the Camaro. Luke came often, bringing tools and quiet support without many questions. Mia learned how to clean parts, how to listen to the engine, and how to wait. Each small step made her feel closer to the car and the man behind the letter. The garage slowly changed from cold space to a place of purpose and calm. One afternoon an old truck stopped outside her house and stayed still. Mia watched from the window feeling unsure and curious at the same time. A man stepped out looking tired but steady with eyes full of thought. He walked slowly toward the door, holding something close to his chest. Mia opened the door before he knocked, feeling the moment was meant. The man introduced himself as Daniel, and his voice carried both fear and hope. He said he had been searching for the Camaro and the person who bought it. Mia invited him inside and showed him the garage without many words. Daniel stood frozen when he saw the car, and his eyes filled with quiet emotion. He thanked her for listening to the letter and for keeping the car safe. They sat together near the Camaro and talked for hours without rush. Daniel shared stories of his youth, his dreams, and the roads he once traveled. Mia spoke about her simple life, her struggles, and her unexpected choice. They realized the car had brought them together at the right time. Neither of them felt like a stranger anymore. Daniel explained the letter was meant to guide the new owner, not to reclaim the car. He said he came only to make sure the Camaro was with someone who cared. Mia told him she planned to restore it slowly with respect and patience. Daniel smiled, knowing his past was now part of her future. The garage felt full of understanding and shared trust. Before leaving, Daniel handed Mia a small box wrapped in cloth. Inside was an old key and a photo of the Camaro shining on an open road. He said the key unlocked more than the car and trusted her with it. Mia accepted it with gratitude and quiet promise. As Daniel drove away, the Camaro seemed to breathe again. That night Mia sat in the driver's seat holding the key tightly. She felt stronger than before and more certain of her path. The letter, the meeting, and the trust had changed her deeply. The Camaro was no longer just a purchase but a responsibility. And this was only the beginning of what awaited her. Mia woke early each day with new energy as the garage became her second home. The smell of oil and old leather felt familiar and comforting to her now. Luke arrived most mornings bringing tools, stories, and steady encouragement. They worked slowly, learning each sound and movement of the Camaro together. Mia learned patience and trust as the car responded to gentle care. Each small success felt like a quiet victory earned by effort. The engine finally stirred one afternoon with a low, rough sound. Mia held her breath as Luke smiled and nodded with calm pride. The garage filled with warmth and a sense of return. Mia felt tears rise, but she stayed steady and focused. The Camaro was alive again and ready to face the road. That moment stayed with her like a promise kept. Mia decided to take the Camaro out for a short drive. She moved carefully through quiet streets, feeling every turn. People stopped and watched as the car passed by slowly. Some waved while others simply smiled in surprise. Mia felt seen in a way she never had before. The road felt open and full of chance. News of the Camaro spread through the town without effort. Neighbors came by with advice, stories, and spare parts. An older woman named Rose shared memories of riding in one just like it. A young boy asked if it could go fast, and Mia laughed softly. The car became a bridge between people and shared pasts. Mia felt rooted and connected at last. Daniel sent a message through Luke asking how the car was doing. Mia replied with honesty and warmth, sharing progress and gratitude. They met again near the edge of town where fields opened wide. Daniel listened quietly as Mia spoke about her journey. He said the car had given him hope once and now it had done so again. They both understood the gift moved forward, not back. One evening Mia found a hidden panel beneath the trunk lining. Her hands shook as she remembered the old key Daniel gave her. The key fit and the panel opened with a soft sound. Inside lay papers, a small journal, and a sealed envelope. Mia chose not to open them yet and closed the panel gently. She knew timing mattered and respect mattered more. Luke noticed the change in her mood and stayed close. They sat on the garage floor sharing silence and trust. Mia spoke about fear and growth and choosing courage. Luke shared his own dreams and quiet struggles. The Camaro stood beside them like a listener and friend. The night felt safe and full of meaning. Mia began planning a town gathering to celebrate the restoration. She wanted to thank everyone who helped along the way. Music, lights, and shared food filled her thoughts. The Camaro would stand at the center, not as a prize but a story. She invited Daniel and hoped he would come. The town felt ready for something hopeful. As the day approached, Mia felt a calm strength within. She realized the car did not change her life alone. Her choices, patience, and care shaped the path forward. The letter, the meeting, and the road all pointed ahead. What waited inside the hidden envelope would matter. And the next chapter was ready to unfold. The morning of the gathering arrived with soft light and a calm breeze. Mia opened the garage early and moved with quiet focus. She cleaned the Camaro one last time, touching every surface with care. The car looked proud and steady, as if ready to share its story. Banners and lights slowly filled the small yard outside her home. Neighbors arrived, offering help, smiles, and warm words. Luke helped set tables and sound while keeping a watchful eye on Mia. He noticed her hands shaking slightly and stood close without asking. Mia felt grateful for his presence and steady nature. She thought about how far she had come since the day she bought the car. The yard now felt alive with laughter and shared purpose. This moment felt earned through patience and trust. As people gathered, the Camaro stood at the center of attention. Children circled it while older folks shared memories quietly. Rose spoke about roads and youth while others listened closely. Mia welcomed everyone and thanked them with a gentle voice. She explained the car was more than a project. It was a reminder that care and kindness move lives forward. Daniel arrived, quietly standing at the edge of the crowd. Mia noticed him and felt calm rather than nervous. She invited him forward and introduced him without long speech. Daniel shared a few words about letting go and finding peace. The crowd listened with respect and silence. The car seemed to connect every heart in the space. Music began softly, and food was shared across tables. Laughter rose and stories moved freely between neighbors. Mia felt the town breathe together as one. She realized this was the life she wanted to build. A life shaped by effort and shared moments. The Camaro stood as a witness to that truth. Later, as the sun lowered, Mia felt the pull of the hidden panel. She knew the time had come to open what waited inside. She stepped into the garage with Luke and Daniel nearby. Her hands found the key and the panel opened smoothly. She lifted the papers and the small journal with care. The sealed envelope rested on top, waiting patiently. Mia opened the envelope slowly and read the letter inside. Daniel watched quietly, trusting her reaction. The letter spoke of a land agreement and savings set aside. It explained that the Camaro sale was meant to find the right keeper. The writer wanted the new owner to use the gift to build something lasting. Mia felt her breath catch as she understood the meaning. The letter named Mia as the chosen receiver of the gift. It encouraged her to open a shared space for learning and repair. A place where skills could be passed and hope could grow. The savings were enough to begin that dream. Mia looked at Daniel and saw relief in his eyes. He nodded, knowing the promise was fulfilled. Tears came softly, but Mia stayed steady and clear. She thanked Daniel for trusting her with something so meaningful. Luke placed a hand on her shoulder, offering quiet support. The garage felt full of purpose and new direction. Mia knew her life had shifted in a gentle, powerful way. The car had guided her to a future built on giving. She stepped back outside and shared the news with the town. People listened with surprise, pride, and warm joy. They offered help, ideas, and time without hesitation. Mia felt surrounded by a community ready to grow together. The Camaro stood nearby, glowing in the fading light. Its journey had changed many lives, not just one. As night settled and lights shimmered across the yard, Mia stood beside the car and breathed deeply. She felt strong, certain, and ready for what came next. The past had found peace and the future felt open. One more chapter remained to be written, and it would begin with shared purpose and hope. Morning returned with a quiet strength that Mia had never felt before. The garage no longer felt small or lonely as light moved across the walls. Tools rested neatly, and the Camaro waited calmly like a trusted friend. Mia stood still and listened to the space breathe with promise. She knew the letter had not ended a story but opened many doors. This day marked the first step into a shared future. Mia began planning with careful thought and steady hope. She wrote ideas on paper and spoke them out loud to the empty room. A learning space, a repair shop, a place for hands and hearts to meet. She imagined young people learning skills and finding direction. She imagined older hands passing knowledge with pride. The vision felt real and close. Luke joined her early, bringing wood supplies and warm energy. They talked about building benches, work tables, and open shelves. Luke offered his time without asking for anything back. Mia saw how community formed through simple acts. Their laughter filled the space and made the work light. The Camaro watched quietly, as if approving every step. Daniel visited, often not as an owner but as a supporter. He shared wisdom and stories from years gone by. Mia listened with respect and gratitude. They spoke about loss recovery and the power of trust. Daniel felt peace seeing the promise come alive. The car had completed its circle. Rose arrived one afternoon with old manuals and gentle advice. She spoke about patience and learning from mistakes. Young neighbors followed, curious and eager to help. Mia welcomed everyone with openness and calm leadership. The space slowly filled with voices and movement. Purpose lived in every shared moment. Weeks passed, and the garage transformed with steady progress. Work tables stood strong and tools found their places. The walls held shelves of parts and shared projects. Mia guided with kindness, allowing others to lead as well. She learned that leadership meant listening and trusting. The Camaro remained the heart of the space. The first official gathering brought quiet excitement. People arrived early carrying tools, ideas, and food. Mia spoke about the vision and thanked everyone present. She reminded them this place belonged to all who cared. The room felt warm with shared belief. A new chapter had fully begun. Mia watched as a young girl learned to hold a wrench. She watched an older man teach with pride and calm. Skills moved between generations without force. Laughter mixed with focus and learning. Mia felt joy deeper than she had known. This was the gift in motion. The Camaro was driven out into the sunlight once more. Not for display but for reminder and inspiration. Mia let others sit inside and feel the weight of history. She shared its story without ownership or pride. The car had become a symbol, not a possession. Its meaning lived in shared effort. Daniel stood beside Mia watching the space thrive. He told her the letter had carried his final hope. Seeing it grow gave him peace beyond words. Mia thanked him again and again with quiet respect. Their bond was built on trust, not need. The past rested gently now. As seasons changed, the space grew stronger. New projects filled the garage with purpose. Failures were met with patience and learning. Successes were shared without pride. Mia felt rooted and free at the same time. Her life had found balance. One evening Mia sat alone beside the Camaro. She rested her hand on the wheel and breathed deeply. She remembered the day she bought it without knowing why. The journey felt unreal yet deeply true. She smiled knowing chance had turned into choice. The road ahead felt wide. Luke joined her quietly and they shared silence. They spoke about dreams still waiting to be built. Mia knew this place would keep growing. She knew challenges would come and be faced. Strength lived in the community they built. Hope stayed present. The town began to recognize the space as a place of change. People traveled from nearby areas to learn and help. Mia welcomed them with the same open heart. The Camaro stood proud at the entrance. A reminder that value often hides beneath dust. And patience reveals truth. Years would pass and stories would continue. Mia would guide many hands and many hearts. The garage would remain a place of growth. The letter would rest safely in her care. The promise would stay alive through action. Meaning lived in what they built together. As night settled, Mia closed the garage doors slowly. She looked once more at the Camaro and felt peace. Her life had changed not through luck but trust. The journey had shaped her into someone strong. She turned off the light with confidence and stepped forward into the future.